going on, my guys and gals and my non-binary pals? It's your boy Kamon. Today we have an updated version of my competitive ninja deck, or ninja horus deck. Yeah, so been playing this deck a lot lately because I'm like, yo, I'm definitely, next time I go to locals, I do want to play it. Playing it online against some people, been, you know, posting on Patreon and whatnot, so thank y'all for actually supporting me on Patreon. It means a lot, actually. But I noticed there was a little bit of a inconsistency with certain things with the deck. Nothing too crazy, but I'm just like, yo, I feel like I can make it better. So actually a viewer of mine actually clarified something for me, which is actually very, very, very important. M-Steady's effect to draw a card is not mandatory. The entire time I thought it was mandatory. You know, I thought you had to draw a card, but it says you can draw a card. So because it's not mandatory, that means we can play another card and whatnot, and I think we know what it is, but let's get right into it. I'm gonna show you guys the main, extra, and the side, and I'm going to explain the cards I have in the side deck so you know what to like do with it, because I did get some questions of like what should you side for this format, etc, etc. So we're gonna get right into it. So yeah, and actually a lot of the main deck and the extra deck did change a little bit. So yeah, updated lists. I think this list is actually way better, and it's a lot more consistent, you know what I mean? So anyways, the monsters, obviously triple Hanzo. Again, it's not once per turn. On normal summon, you'll search for a ninja spell trap card, add it to your hand, and or flip or special summon, you can search for a ninja monster from your deck to your hand besides itself. So, and again, each effect is not once per turn. It's not a, you can literally normal summon, or special all three, and then get all three of their effects. So Hanzo is the best card in your entire deck, so you definitely want to max out on him at 3 at all times. As long as you see Hanzo in any way, shape, or form, you can play Yu-Gi-Oh! You know what I mean? So again, people tend to misunderstand how this deck works. This deck is not supposed to make going first these really big negate my field boards. You know what I mean? It doesn't do that. This deck is the master at like setting up. You know what I mean? You set up so you can interrupt your opponent. This deck is more of a interruption kind of deck, and it can kind of play around against most of the like meta. But anyways, 3 Hanzo, definitely a 3 of at all times. 3 Tabari the Sky Ninja, and 3 Mitsu. I gotta get this quarter century or whatever it's called because it looks really nice. But anyways, yeah, these are the only ones you will be running at 3 at all times, because these are the ones that can do the most for you. Obviously, Hanzo is the best card ever for this deck, but these two are very good supporting cards too. So Tabari in your hand, put it from your hand to graveyard, summon a ninja monster from your hand. When it's special summoned or flipped up for this turn, it can't die by a battle or card effect, and during your opponent's main phase and or battle phase, you can fuse with cards on your field and or hand. So this is how you interrupt a lot of the times on your opponent's turn and whatnot. So 3 of these. Mitsu can summon itself from your hand if you control a ninja monster or a face-down monster on your field, which that does activate. And then if your opponent activates a monster effect, you can flip this card face down, flip a monster you control face up, and if it's a ninja monster, you can negate that monster effect. It can't be Mitsu, obviously, but if it's like this, you can literally go effect, flip up, flip down, negate that, then you can go on resolution, chain effect, fuse. You know what I mean? Remember, this deck is all about interrupting, so interrupting is very good in this deck. So that's it for the 3 Ls for those. For the 1 Ls, again, very standard still for the monsters. So 1 Green Ninja, 1 Baku, 1 Cannon Ninja, and then 1 Yugioh, the Gravity Ninja. I've seen builds run like these guys at 2. I think that's very incorrect. I think you need to run each at just 1. I mean, if you want to run Kagero at 2, sure, you can run there at 2, but it's like you're only ever going to use her effect once per turn anyways, so there's no point. Plus, you can always get it. You can get any ninja monster you want in here. You know what I mean? So, yeah. Yugioh is, for me, Yugioh is definitely a 1 of. You don't want, before in the past, you would run him at 2 because you don't want to like draw him, because he is a dead card in your hand. But people tend to forget you do run Tabari, and Tabari can literally get this card out of your hand for free. So that is why Yugioh is good at 1, because you don't want to draw him, but if you do draw him, it's not the end of the world, because you can get Tabari by special summoning out Hanzo, you know what I mean? Flipping him up. It doesn't really matter. So yeah, books 2 things on the field, and then your opponent can't flip up their monsters. If something is flipped face up while it's on the field, you can destroy 1 card on the field. On summon, you can special summon 1 ninja monster face down from your hand or graveyard, doesn't target, and all its cards in the graveyard. If a ninja monster you control is targeted by a opponent's card effect, bounce it back to your hand and then put this card face down in defense position. It's pretty cool. Baku, when it's added to your hand except by drawing it, you can summon it to your field for free. Then on special summon or flip summon, you can target 1 ninja or ninjutsu card in your graveyard, add it to your hand, so this is really good recursion. Green Ninja, when a ninja monsters are summoned to your field, you can summon this card from your hand to the field, then book a moon 1 of those cards. Then when this card hits graveyard, by any means necessary, you could book a moon card on the field or flip 1 face up. So again, you interrupt your opponent a lot. You guys can kind of see the like synergy of like all of the like interruptions. You know what I mean? So that is it for the ninja monsters. Again, very standard. This list will never really change unless we get more ninja support, which we might get more, like fusions or whatever. That would be kind of cool. Hand traps, I'm only running 6, so we're running 3 Ash, and then we are running 3 Imperm for the hand traps. Best hand traps in the format. Ash is okay, but I still think it's good because it does hit a lot of decks no matter what. So yeah, just 3 and 3 for 6 for those right there. And now, obviously, for the Horus engine, we are running triple M SETI and then the 1 Happy. I'm not running Blessing. Happy is actually way better because shuffling back cards from your graveyard and or banish back to your hand and or deck is way better than just drawing cards, in my opinion. Roll for this deck because, again, you can recur a lot of stuff with your field spell and with Baku and your equip and your notebook. You know what I mean? The deck has a lot of lots of recursion, so having that extra recursion back is super good in my opinion. So yeah, and again, I did post a Kamon video of the Horus stuff in here, so if you do want to go check that out, make sure you do so. But yeah, I think this engine is fantastic in here, bro. There's no real downside to running it. You know what I mean? People were asking me like, oh, why is it so good? The fact that you can put a body on the field for free, which you can use to link away or make a big Exceed monster. And the best part, you can, everything you send to graveyard, aka your ninja stuff, you can get them back because of your field spell, because of Baku, because of your equip, because of notebook. So it's pretty much free real estate of why you're playing this engine in here. Plus, this is a pretty good card to actually get Ash because I rather them Ash M SETI over Ashing Hanzo. I want Hanzo to go off because you get more value with Hanzo if it does resolve, but this does help with that too. And summoning Zombie Vampire, then hitting Hanzo off of that, fantastic. So anyways, that is it for the main monsters. Very standard, and yeah, I mean, again, that didn't really change, but a card that did change, which you guys probably know, is obviously 3 Pot of Prosperity. Again, I I could have sworn, or I thought M-Siz's effect was mandatory to draw, but it's not. So because it's not mandatory to draw, it does not conflict with Pot of Prosperity. Pot of Prosperity is one of the best cards in this deck. It's so consistent, and again, you play 7 fusions, bro. So you have a lot of options to actually get rid of things. So yeah, this card is always live, bro. Having that extra consistency card in this deck makes up for a lot of stuff it's missing, bro. And again, mind you, with the like Pot of Prosperity plus the like Horus engine, you're never really gonna have a dead hand ever. You feel me? Like, even if you do have a dead hand, bro, pot of like Prosperity can like, yo, the amount of times you can fix your hands are crazy, bro. And it's like, yes, we are in a big draw format, but it's like, if they had draw, they had draw. You better have it, bro. You know what I mean? So yeah, 3 Pot of Prosperity is definitely a given in this deck. Now that I know it does not conflict with M-SETI whatsoever, definitely run this card at 3. Because you want to be as consistent as possible. So like 3, 3, 3 are the cards you want to see in your opening hand at all times. So these 9 are the best opening cards that you do want to try to have in here. So yeah, the more consistent the deck, the better it will perform. And this deck, super cool. And it's funny because like taking this to like a local or like a regional, people will not know what to do against this deck. There's not, pardon me, there's not a singular way to really stop this deck. You know what I mean? Unless your name is Shifter. But even then, like Shifter, you could literally go, okay, set a monster, set 3, pass, and even then that's still good because you could still have your ninja spell and trap cards. You know what I mean? But rambling on a little bit too much. That's it for the 3-ofs. For the 2Ls, we are running 2 King Sark and 2 Book of Eclipse. I took down Book of Eclipse to put it at 2 instead of 3 because again, this card on its own doesn't really do too much, and I do not like my opponent drawing too many cards, but we're still running this over Book of Moon because of Voiceless Voice. That deck is very powerful. We need to respect that deck at all times, so Book of Eclipse is really, really good. Booking their entire field, so therefore you can still play, you know what I mean? Like, it's super, super, super good. And yeah, King Sark is just King Sark because you want to search this out off of your M setting, and then you're good to go from there. So that's it for those 2Ls. Other 2Ls, we are main decking 2 Scroll, and then for the other ninja stuff, we are main decking the 1 Village and then the 1 Dagger for the other ninja stuff, or ninja-esque portion of the spells. Scroll cannot be played at 1. This card is too good. Played at 2. I know this card is very, very good, but I still do not feel like it is a 3-of. Yes, the card is bonkers, but it does require your opponent to have a card on their field. You know what I mean? So therefore, if they don't have anything, this card is dead in the water. And I do not like opening up multiple of these. It's searchable and it's recyclable, but 2 is just fine. I can always get this card no matter what, bro. No matter what, I can always get the card. Either if it's off of Hanzo or if it's off of Saizo. You can always get this card no matter what. So I think 2 is just fine. Village is actually very underrated in my opinion. The fact that you can recur a lot of your stuff is how you can keep your grind game going in this deck. If you do want to side this out each round, you can do that, no problem, but I still think it's a main deck option. I don't think you need to main deck the other spell card that lets you pop cards on the field, because at the end of the day, you are also running Prosperity, you know what I mean? So even if you do attack directly, you're going to be, you're going to do half to them regardless. But I think this card is just way better. Protection, recursion is super good, and we all know what Iron Dagger does. You know what I mean? Like, I think this ratio is just fine. But if you do not like this card here, you don't have to run it. I don't think it's that big of a deal, but I like the card. I think it's pretty good. Other spell cards, we are running Rhoda. Upgraded my Rhoda finally. I was not being lazy, so 1 Rhoda, and then obviously last is the 1 Called by the Grave to round off the spells, because again, we do not want to get hit with an Ash Blossom on our powerful trap cards, because that will hurt. But that is why we have the Horse Engine in here. Summoning out Photon Lord and then going for our trap cards is very, very, very important. So we do not want to get hit with Ash Blossom at all. So yeah, because this deck does lose to a really good timed Ash. It does lose to that, unfortunately. So yeah, that is it for those. Now for the trap cards, we are main decking the 2 Garuna Cannon still, because this card is bonkers. It's nuts, and it's the only card you have to kind of deal with purely in other like big towers. Like if your opponent has, if you're fighting Raid Raptors and they have 3 towers in the field, you just boop, you send them all to graveyard. Sure, they can recur one of them back with Skip Force. But again, this deck is very reliable. We don't care what monsters you have on the field, because we can attack you directly and go for game. So we don't have to like deal with that kind of stuff. So 2 cannon, because we do want to kind of deal with certain things. But yeah, and then last cards, we are running the 1 Dancing Leaves and then the 1 Duplication. I still believe these cards are definitely meant to be played at 1 each. People run this card at 3 and this card at 3, and I'm just like, I think that's very incorrect, because what is the point of having this card at 3 and opening up 2 of these with no other ninja monster in your hand to actually utilize this? Or point of opening up with 2 of these, right? And you use it and then you get Ash Blossom, you know what I mean? There's pointless. I'd rather open up with just either 1 of each and then other spell and trap cards, including a ninja monster. So, you know what I mean? You have more options. So I think these cards are 1-ups. And again, you can bounce these cards back with this card effect. Search it out anytime you want. Get it back from the graveyard. You don't need these cards at more than just one each, in my opinion. But that is just me. I'm just some lonely YouTuber, you know what I mean? As it for the main deck, that's a solid 40 cards. I think with the Pot of Prosperity back in here, it's a very consistent deck. So yeah, let's go on to the extra deck that changed around just a little bit, for the links, we cut down on some links, but still same overall. One Cross Sheep, very, very good for the combo. One SP, one Sizo, and then the one Borosaur Dragon for the OTK. You go into these, at least you go into like these 3 every single game. If you don't want to go into this for OTK, you don't have to. But yeah, these are for the links. Bring back a Hanzo, search again. SP is just SP. Sizo is the archetype thing, and then Borosaur for OTK. That's about it for those. For the fusions, 3 Yagamaru, 3 Mazen, and then the one Ultimate Great Insect. Card is really good, and it's a very good prosperity target to actually get rid of stuff. You know what I mean? So, self-explanatory. And I do actually go into this pretty often if I need to. You know what I mean? Clear my opponent's field and be good to go from there. So, now for the Exceeds, we are main decking the one Dweller because fire decks, bro. Gotta run the Dweller. So, one Dweller, one Photon Lord, then Vampire, and then obviously the Photon Lord Sky Crisis. You know what I mean? The Star Slayer himself. I mean, this XC lineup is pretty good. And just having that Dweller is really good too, because in case you do want to end up on anything too crazy, Dweller is one of those cards where you could just boop and your opponent kind of flat out loses, if I'm being completely honest with you. Now let's go on to the side deck and wrap up the deck profile. So for the side deck, 3 Droll, because Droll is one of the best cards in the format. It hits a lot of decks, so it's good to actually have in here. So 3 Droll Knockbird, 3 Cosmic Cyclone, because Voice and Fire King, Snake Eye, all that stuff. Just a good card in the format, and I'm glad this card is actually back in the format. It's super, super cool. And yeah, just Cosmic, bro. Also, hitting the like Ray Raptor spell card, Roos is actually really, really good too. So, 3 of those. We're siding 2 Thrust, and then with those, we're siding 2 Storm, and then the 1 Duster. And then for more targets, for Thrust, we are siding the 1 Evenly, the 1 Epidemic Virus, and then the 1 Ice Dragon's Prison. These cards are very, very good going first. And then the last card we are siding is the 1 There Can Only Be One. I'd main it, but I don't really have room, so siding it is just as fine too. Everything in this deck is different types and whatnot, so this does not hurt you in the slightest whatsoever. But yeah, that is it for deck profile. Hope you guys did enjoy. Make sure you do like, comment, subscribe to the video. See you guys next time, man. Have an awesome one. Peace.